Hello and welcome everybody. Another GPMS Europe and East, no, GPMS.world Europe and East contributors meeting. What are we on today? 21st of the 4th, 2024. Been a couple of weeks since we've had the last one. It's wonderful to see everybody here again. Jenny's, what's that? What was the turn him round, Jenny? Can't hear you. Turn him round or whatever.
Oopsie. Is it?
There you go. Hello. Welcome to the meeting.
She's beautiful. She always has to be right on top of me. Sorry.
Oh, good. So basically a couple of weeks ago we had a meeting and there wasn't a lot to discuss necessarily, and we decided that we'd have them every couple of weeks, or contributor driven. Excuse me. This has led to a couple of weeks of quiet inside GPMS moving forward. Now, first and foremost, I'd like to talk about those couple of weeks inside GPMS. And what we've seen inside GPMS is relative calm, with a few others that were coming in and attempting to change GPMS, attempting to add their stamp to it. And this was done in a particularly awkward way, in a particularly unnecessary way. And we've witnessed this again in the last couple of weeks. And what we can say from this is it's a micro indicator of the macro frustration. It's a micro indicator of the macro lack, need to control. So what we're watching inside GPMS is a version of the macro on the outside at the same time. Nothing to be concerned. We just go through it, or we've had this before. We're just speaking off the camera with Sister Jenny, and we've seen this before, and we've watched this come circular. So we're watching this cyclical rhythm of the repetition of the same old things with different faces. Now, having said that, I'm not going to necessarily go into the higher timeline, the energetic yet, because Brother Rick's just turned up, so we may well bounce that one in a bit later on. But what I wanted to do was discuss over what's happened over the last couple of weeks, at least, with regards to the lower timeline, and add some information with regards to that right now, and a couple of the precursory things for significant change in the human consciousness, in the collective consciousness. There's two key points right now. Well, money and health. They're the major aspects of most people's considerations as it stands, money and their own health. The money side of it is being pushed extremely hard by the existing system, which has collapsed. It's just floating in the belief system of the people that it's still there. So we've got the other arms. BRICS is throwing itself around saying we're going to come on board. CBDC is throwing itself around, and all of these other things are flaming, giving opportunities for people to find something to believe in. And of course, they're trusting the system still, as opposed to something else. So the money side of it is being dwindled from most, if not all of them. All of the souls on the planet are losing money, and it's becoming harder and harder and harder and harder to see how you're going to move forward in the next month and next month and next month. And then you watch the political arse-hats in the arenas throwing their sense around, telling you what they're going to do about everything else, but you. So this is all ongoing. We've seen this for quite a bit of time. The second one is the health. Now, this one's an interesting one with regards to the human consciousness, the consciousness itself, the fear aspects inside the people. It's come out now that this let's say medical intervention in the last couple of years, not just that, but in the last 150 years, has caused every disease. Pretty much every disease is caused, or dis-ease is now being linked, if not causally, to medicine and to the medical pharmaceutical industry. This is coming out in science papers, in research papers, and through thesis and theory and hypothesis from not one or two, but many of very high-ranking scientific officials, medical officials, etc., that are bringing this information to the table inside studies and inside report studies and case studies of the biomolecular, of the actual proteins, of the atomic level, atomic structure level of the human body. Some of them are able to actually say the brilliance, the God-given brilliance, the incredible nature to which the human body was made. Some of them are able to see that from the depth of the study into the molecular and how it all works. They can see the incredible nature to which it is that we are in this vessel. And they can also see from the research how the system has bypassed that and attacked the vessel from the inside out. not as well as from the outside in. So what this long story short, what this effectively means is that in the eyes of quite a few of the immunologists, the high-ranking ones that know what they're talking about, that they have predicted a large-scale loss of existence, a large-scale die-off. It's not like that. It's not like that. It won't look like that, but it's predicted because of the damage that's been done to the innate system. Now, innate and reactive, two types of immune system. One, the innate, is the God-given defense system, and the reactive one works with it. Both of these have been targeted over the period of time by different therapeutical inputs or antigens, which is antigenetic. So antigens being put in, foreign bodies being put in, and this attack is attacking the body from different areas within the body. The bolus is a big thing right now, where there is a ball of antigen injected, and that ball then has to be split down into a smaller until it can become particles. In fracturing that ball, it leaves lots of other cannonballs which are fired into different parts of the body over and over and over again for them to break down, and this is causing damage over time. This is a longer term thing which has been ongoing for an awful long time. A lot of this could be seen as conspiracy theories, etc., etc. But at this point now, this is proven, this is factual, this is actual, and this is what is being reported and being censored by the powers, the authorities that were. All of this is being pushed out of the window, and all of the people are being gaslit into believing it's everything else. I think one of the major UK newspapers put headlights on cars now. Headlights on cars, because they're so bright, they are causing heart attacks. What? Climate change and everything else is called. So everything but that. And that is the one that's coming back to bite them. One engineer actually said it's the largest industrial accident ever on the history of the planet, and the medical industry must make amends, in his words, by healing people. The medical industry must make amends for what it's done by healing people. So we're in this boat, kind of, where lots of things are up in the air, and this is pushing. I'd like to bring in another one as well about a certain area that's in the Middle East at the moment, which is also part of quite a few other people's conscious mindsets that is ongoing, where there is another aggressive territorial corporate battle ongoing between how do we spend money over there and destroy the people we don't want and keep power and keep the whole system running in the same go. And this is all playing out inside the Middle East. This is ongoing, and of course the people of the world are complicit because their governments are allowing it. The International Court of Justice has already signed up and said this, and this, but the International Court of Justice is also signed up to the monetary system that they are playing with. So it's all sides of the same thing. And what's going to actually have to happen is that the people are going to stand up and stop this. Now, when is that going to happen? Are we going to let this keep going on? Are we going to let this roll out and keep going further? Or are we going to step up and stop this? Are we going to join together and unite and put aside our toys, our issues, our grudges, our egos, and simply join up the dots and say this is no longer available? We cannot do this anymore. This is causing far too much harm. Do no harm is the rule. And yet, this is what we're watching ongoing. So on the lower timeline, there is an awful lot of flux. There is an awful lot of pressure. Resistance is pressure over time. And that resistance is frictional. And what we are feeling is friction on the largest scale. There is a friction on this uplift of frequency. There is a resistance to rising frequency, which is exactly what is happening on a galactic scale. The frequency is rising, yet people think they can hold it back. This is not a good look. So as this frequency rises, resistance is maintained because there is friction, pressure over time. People resist. They resist. They accept and tolerate the intolerable until it becomes intolerable and they no longer tolerate it anymore. But they haven't reached that point. They keep stretching, thinking it will go back, and it won't. This is the time to release. This is the time to snap that elastic band. Let go of that energy that was in there. Don't try it to go back to comfort. Don't try to release it back into what it was. That's a flawed geometry. It needs to go. It needs to snap. And that means that each must make that decision and must make that choice to say no more to that and choose a different path. Now, I don't wish to continue. That's 15 or 10 minutes. That's far too long for Lee to speak. But I wanted to open this, or I felt to open this one up with just a little bit of a look into what's going on that lower timeline. And I'll pass it over now, hopefully, to Brother Rick. He may remind me of other things that need to be said or whatever. So over to you, brother.
Thank you, brother. First, can everyone hear me well?
Yes,
Hear
yes.
me
Go on, go on.
All good, brother. All good.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And again, hello, beautiful brothers and sisters in the world. Just perhaps adding or putting it in a slightly different way, how Lee opened this up, which is so important, is at least the current numbers that that we do have is about a 5% worldwide excess death rate. What they are doing, let's say the darkness, the medical, and to cover it up, what they are doing is raising the normal death rate. So then it makes the percentage look smaller. But if you go back to the base rate of several years ago, I am guessing that the numbers of excess mortality is perhaps much greater worldwide. It could even be 15%. But it's because of these plays with numbers and the information that ones are putting out that it's still not yet showing the full picture. But as Lee said, the facts are there. Just a few days ago, I just don't recall the exact day. It might have been a week ago. Here in this small village in Romania, there was 11 to 13 different sirens from ambulances in the one day. Astronomical increase. Now, to my knowledge, I think 2 of those that I could see were the same ambulance that come to the nearby village, put their siren off, got the patient, then put it back on. But when you take those numbers out, you're still looking at somewhere between 9 and 11 different ambulances in one day, which is huge. And also Femke, she is in the Netherlands, and an interesting bit of information she had got the other day that a friend of hers, I believe her aunt had died, and which was unheard of. They had to wait for about 2 weeks before they could have the funeral because the backlog of funerals in the Netherlands was that long. So for unheard of. Typically, when I was human in Nova Scotia, someone dies 3 days and the funeral occurs. So, these are very important indicators that it is very real, what has been perpetrated upon humanity. But at the same time, there can be no redemption by those that participated in it, meaning that there is no accountability or justice from the same system that allowed them to do it. So ideally, the simple focus is what we're doing with GPMS. The entire system that allowed this attempted mass genocide upon humanity is the problem in the ones that are in there. It is also, we are separating from those because it is the actual evil, and they knew very well what they did. They had a premeditated plan with full ill intention. And this was not done by human souls trying to assist humanity. And these ones do not go forward. And with this, what I need to say, it is not in our place to pass a full judgment upon them in any courts of law or what have you. It is organically taken care of. That's why we put our full focus in the new system. What occurs with these evil ones is that organically, divinely, justice is served.
Keep going, brother.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if it was a question because my volume, for whatever reason, is low here. So, having said this, it is more and more factual, as Lee is saying, and it's part of the divine plan as well to show the facts and the truth to the people, while why the old system cannot remain intact. So it's great to see more supporting evidence of this irrefutable and undeniable evidence that is coming out. I was late getting in. I don't know if Lee mentioned about the implications with some numbers about the U.S. If not, I'd love for you to just share.
Let's just look at one of the 64. 2 seconds. Could I? Let's see. I just have to keep muting our Indian friends. The latest numbers look like somewhere in the region of 64 million US are currently disabled. Now those numbers can be easily altered in bits and pieces, but 64 million, 1 in 5, nearest damn it, in the US. Okay, if you keep unmuting, brother, I'm going to have to remove you from the room. Who's that? Sudeb Chandra Das. Could you keep the microphone muted, please, brother, whilst we're speaking? Thank you. So 64 million, 1 in 5 are currently disabled. Okay, take that as you will. But the interesting one was arterial sclerosis, sclerosis of the artery. Now, I didn't know quite so much, but for sclerosis of the arteries to happen, there has to be quite significant damage. Otherwise, the arteries repair themselves, because this is quite an important area. It seems very likely that there is the only way you can have arterial sclerosis is through pharmaceutical intervention. Dependent on when you had it and what it was, is the amount of damage that it would cause. Apparently at this stage, over 50%, 52% of Americans have arterial sclerosis. Interesting how the physical vessel, which is designed to live for millennia, is suffering so severely in so many different syndromes, symptoms, ways, which don't get hit naturally. They don't get touched naturally. Yet these are the ones that people are suffering with, the unnatural. Interesting. But yeah, so these numbers are coming out, and just on the American side of this, 64 million, 1 in 5 disabled currently, and these are the ones that are on their numbers, and over 50% with arterial sclerosis, which can be repaired, but it can't be repaired in the current medical climate, nor the current medical knowledge. All of these can be repaired. All of this is up for repair. But not in the current system. So whilst that current system remains, then there is no repair. Let's call it that way. When we join for unity, then we get to the point where this can be rectified. But until that point, no, we're just going to watch it dwindle and fail. So I just add that bit, brother. Back over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. So, this is a very important point. Out of perhaps 40 million Americans, however, 1 in 5 at this point is disabled as a result of what has occurred in the last 3 years. This is a very significant number, but also when you look at the current narratives of one's labeling a deep state government or what have you. These ones are consistently missing the point and are ignorant to the fact that this was a worldwide thing. Again, so having said this, this is very good news to hear that at least these numbers are being recorded. And it should be an awakening for the US, the American people, and also for Canada close by. So the point that I am making, that we are making with these numbers, is that they're growing. They're in everyone's face. And what this does, it makes it more easier for GPMS to show what needs to be done worldwide. And it also shows the Americans, if you will, that it's not one government that's doing this. It's a conglomerate of government networks worldwide, to keep it simple with this. So these are staggering numbers when you look at this. And nevertheless, it is also with the most current divine numbers I got from Father, if you will. And you know what's occurring with GPMS on the world, but the overall mission, if it didn't need to be done, we would snap our fingers and it would already be here. The heaven on earth would already be here. But the thing is, things don't quite work that way. That's why we are here upon the planet with GPMS, to actually save as many souls as we can. And time is a huge factor in this, meaning that the last update I got is that there's about 3 billion out of 6 billion human souls on the planet that will go forward. But having said this, when the energetic environment upon the planet is not risen to such a level, these 3 billion may not even go forward. It could be 1 billion out of that. That is how serious and severe and extensive what has occurred upon the planet. And again, we would not be here doing GPMS upon the planet if it was not necessary. So I need to make this point also of the urgency of what we're doing. Now, we know what we're doing at taking things forward, at giving more than the hope. Lee's words, hope is being actualized through GPMS. What this does on the energetic level, it begins to uplift ones in a rapture effect. It gives them more hope. It changes the energy, what they're putting out into the environment. So they're actually they know that GPMS is real, that it's coming, that this does end soon. And that is the opposite of the ones that are in great fear out there, not knowing that the beginning is already here. The point I'm making is, because of these ones in fear, and because of all of the fear propaganda that's put out there, what occurs, they're to some levels unable to see GPMS, so they implode with the old. But the energy that is created keeps the old paradigm in existence. And when you go right into the biochemical level of what Lee was saying, everything is energy, and it begins with intent within the physical vessel. It also begins on an abstract level, if you wish to take it to your ATP sequencing, which begins, that keeps your human vessel warm. It is that chemical reaction that does it, but that chemical action at the most back towards the point of origin to your existence of this human vessel is very important. And the abstract environment that sets it off is actually from your own environment, from your own vibration. So again, just to put it in simple terms, by taking the stress level out on the planet, which GPMS does, many begins to heal. But not only organically do they heal in this good energetic environment, this energetic environment then makes accessible to all the higher healing technologies and modalities as well, and many makes it. So it is the divine plan to take it forward. Something went terribly wrong in this realm and on this planet. However, we are the ones here to correct it, and we're divinely bestowed, if you will, with GPMS to do it. There is no doubt, there is no conviction. The only variable is how many will make it through. It is inevitable, it is imminent, but out of our great compassion as well, it's why we keep putting a push on GPMS out there, because the more we do it, we also save more lives on the planet. We could just put GPMS out there and, as it is on a website and not promote awareness. But by doing that, we are not doing what is morally right for humanity as well. That's why there has to be what we are doing, spreading the awareness, but integrating the reality of it into all of the narratives, into the collective consciousness, into the mainstream media. And it's then we throw the lifeline out that the ones that are able to see it connects with it and becomes part of it as we take it forward. But what I need to say is not everything is written in stone. There are so many variables, and it depends on the actions of all of us and the new ones that join with GPMS to take it forward, as quick as we can. And everyone is tired, and we are doing our best. But nevertheless, we are all in a safe place with this, and eventually we get it done. Thank you.
As it stands, on extrapolating what you've just said there, brother, with 112,888, I think at the moment, or 932 GPMS, well, sooner or later it's going to become the majority. Now, either it grows into the majority or the amount that are out there diminishes until it is the majority. Both ways work. Depends which way people wish to do it. Now, what we have seen with this as well is others coming in still with division and negation, ideologies, agendas, other things and bits and pieces. I would like to reiterate what GPMS, our role is to share GPMS, share the choice of GPMS. It is not to build it. It is not to decide what humanity will do with it. It is not to tell people what they can and cannot have. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Is to allow the people the absolute choice of what it is that they wish to do, the same as we would wish for ourselves. So I would reiterate to anybody that maybe sees this and thinks about what GPMS is and what's being done for you, nothing. You must do it for yourself, the same as everybody else must do it. Make that choice and utilize your unalienable right of self-determination. Self-determination means nobody's doing anything for you. You do it for yourself. And this is what we must be reminded of in a lot of these moments. 2 seconds. When ones are coming in saying we've got to do this, and this, it takes us into distraction. It takes us into somewhere else where we end up thinking about details of something that will be part of something maybe somewhere later, as if that's important now. No, it isn't. Getting the voice, getting the choice out to the people, allowing the people to bring their choices together, to sit down in think tanks, collective ideas, and come up with plans and solutions that others join into and then build and grow within a community is the way this goes. Not with one who believes themselves to be the leader or one who believes themselves to have the answers. No, this is a team thing. This is for all. And what we will not allow others to come in and think that that's what's going to be the case and change things to suit that. It would derail and detract, and we can't do it. It just can't happen divinely. So for those that believe that GPMS has got something wrong, great. Go and do something else. For those who believe GPMS is perfect, great. Come and do this. For those who don't care, great. Go and do something else. And we'll just keep the same thing. We'll do the same thing, do the same thing. We are resilient, persistent. This is not going to stop. It's going to get more and more and more. And what we have been saying for a long time will be proven to be true. Over to you, brother.
Thank you. What I just did, I think last night or the night before, I had to remove a GPMS contributor from our contributors lounge on Telegram. And what I wish to do is share a little bit more here openly and transparently and publicly the reasons why. Before I get into that, I am perfectly divinely knowledgeable of all of the tactics of the darkness, the schemes, and the narratives. I had to be for what I am today. So I am all knowledgeable on how the darkness works. I am also all knowledgeable on how the darkness can also manipulate souls. Now, without getting into the extensive details of how and why I know this, what I need to say, I am given this important gift for very important reasons. And part of this gnosis, discernment, is very important because we need to keep the clutter in things clean as we go forward. Not only are we dealing with written chatter, it's the energy that is also with it. And having said this, we like to keep the temple clean, GPMS.world. And there are times when Brother Lee and I, not so much, have to bring out the whip and clear out the ill intent out of the temple. It doesn't serve a purpose. And let me say, what we have seen in the past, we have seen some good, genuine, well, I won't say genuine, we have seen some good propositioned souls that come forward, superficially putting out good intentions. However, over the period of time, we discover and we discern and we blatantly see that there is an underlying selfish agenda. Without going deep into what it is, when one looks at our huge numbers that are growing, what happens with some of these disillusioned ones, they look at it, for example, as a way to profit in the old capitalistic world. So they look at it for their own personal gain, which is selfish, and it's not what GPMS is. Personal gain is disharmonic. It is inequality. It is disparity. So then they become into direct conflict of interest of what GPMS is, which is the opposite. Then they are exposed and revealed. So a little bit of background on that. We are no fools. And what I need to say, even above the human comprehension, we cannot be fooled nor tricked. We are divine and we are omnipotent. We do have great patience, I do, but at times there comes a time when you say, no, this is unacceptable. We give everyone the full benefit of the doubt and the chances to redeem themselves and to do what is right. But there's only a certain amount of time we are going to spend onto these distractions and attempted manipulation. Whether the individual knows they are doing it or not doesn't matter with us. We know it and we identify it and we observe and we monitor it. So having said this, yes, we keep the temple clean. In our contributors lounge, it's a place to speak freely, but it's not a place to manipulate and interrogate others, if you will. These are less desirable traits, and definitely these sort of traits do not exist in the new world. So we take them out here. They cannot go forward. So what I did last night or the other night, I banned one out of our GPMS Telegram contributors group. And I said, I'm going to give you time. I'm banning you indefinitely, and we'll give you time to think about your behavior. Is it respectable? Are you taking GPMS forward, or are you trying to distract ones from doing that? And it's not in alignment. So having said this, from time to time, yes, we have ones come in that look like very good propositions, but if they're not in alignment with the selfless intent, they cannot remain, at least temporarily, in the space, and it is divinely taken care of. I love all souls, but again, there comes a point, if we accept this continuous behavior, we only populate it more, and it has to be cleared out. So what I say with this, any other divine guardians, admins in these groups, no, externally, your judgment, your discernment, if you know that something is energetically off or not right, you use your own discretion. And the quicker you get rid of one that you have identified that is not in alignment, what it does, it saves us much distraction and confusion for others as we keep the focus going forward. And then we do go forward much quicker. So these things also serve a divine purpose as they come in, because they become evidence as well for the others that these are very real things, that there is the resistance out there yet. But we keep our temple, we keep our table clean as possible. Yes, out of our great compassion, we do give one's benefit of the doubt, but there comes times, no, enough is enough, and we cannot condone this obnoxious, arrogant, out of alignment behavior. So thank you.
Distortion. Rick and I, we were in collaboration a bit earlier this week, and one of the updates is that we must redefine love. And this is moving love. This is part of GPMS2, what we're talking to here. This is moving love from a superficial, emotional, nebulous ideology into a wiser version of the same thing. This is taking love from that which tolerates and accepts and forgives everybody and everything all the time, and continues to do that regardless of their behavior, because it must tolerate and accept everything, otherwise it might fear judgment, into a wiser form of this that does not tolerate nor accept that which is none or less than virtuous. It has compassion and empathy, and through that compassion and empathy will help and advise and guide and assist, until one shows that they are unworthy of that trust, and that they cannot be trusted, and that they must not be tolerated nor accepted. Otherwise, they will be empowered to continue doing those traits, continue with those energies. So we are currently in a place where we are going to be re-evaluating and reevaluating everything. And one of those is actions of others. It is not a soul's duty to tolerate the other's lesser actions once they know better and have been informed. You do not have to accept what others do to you from their own egoic, selfish natures. If they do not know better, then you inform them, and then you say that's enough. You do not have to tolerate anymore that which is intolerable. Suffering is purely enduring that which is intolerable. Suffering is not pain. Suffering is the endurance of that which is not tolerable. Unconditional love brings about suffering by tolerating that which is not tolerable. until suffering is removed, by removing that into a wiser form of love where forgiveness, acceptance, and tolerance is not required, but it is in the old system of tolerance. Liars, cheats, infidelity, stealing, blames, gain, all of these lesser forms, serpentine forms, we've been taught we must tolerate. And that's love, and that's kind. Who's it kind to? Certainly not kind to yourself. And to the others, they don't learn to choose, they don't learn to change. So in the lack of tolerance and in the lack of acceptance, this is higher forms of wisdom, wise love. Excuse me. So this is what Rick is talking about a little bit there. We're moving into a phase now whereby this blanket tolerance, this blanket acceptance of one's behaviors must not happen any further. You know, each and every single one of you, you know how you feel, your conscience feels if you attempt to harm somebody or steal from somebody or lie and cheat. You know what your conscience says to that. You do not accept that within yourself. You don't accept those actions. Why would you accept it from others? Especially when it's hidden, emotionally hidden, to attempt to manipulate you, to lose your own energy, to lower your own frequency, to satisfy their own shame. We've got to get out of this phase with a lot of this and reevaluate, redefine, and really have a deep think about what it is that we are accepting and tolerating day to day to day, and what it is that we are enabling in this society. And I'm talking systemically, not just on an individual basis with regards to your own feelings and emotions, but on a system basis. What are you tolerating every day? Tens of thousands of people dying, genocides left, right, and center, medical indoctrinations in the schools, government spending money, you're oppressed, everybody's being told to hate everybody else. Is this what you're tolerating? Look at what you're tolerating. And that's life. It's survival. It's survival at its very lowest. And this is what we must say no to. So this is, again, a lot of this is about reevaluation and revaluing things. And when the truth, when the energy, when virtue, honesty, and integrity is valued, everything in this world changes. But whilst money is valued, nothing will. So I'll leave it at that for now, and we'll open the floor to whoever wishes to continue from that sort of entrance, unless you've got anything you'd like to add to that, brother. No.
Not right now. No, I'd like to hear from the floor. Beautiful. You know, we could talk for hours on this, but I fully agree with you. Let's hear from the floor. Thank you.
Anybody? Sister B, would you like to jump in?
Greetings. Yes, so you just read my mind. So yeah, I wanted to say the people that are using the inventors from the medical, the good medicine, like natural medicine and everything, just to put them to make an invention and after that to sell to the United States. And they use these people because they are in the considered poor countries. This is something that, as Lee and Rick said, it's not about any kind of integrity. It is not about saving lives, because by the end, the product is coming extremely expensive. And for example, when somebody from Romania wanted to buy this product that was sold via the United States, she found that it's not possible because it is too expensive for her. So the people that they have some invention in so-called poor countries, because practically they are not poor at all, but how they are kept at this time, they need to move forward on the place where the invention it is and to try to market something there. And also then the people, other people will be involved and they will market also on so-called developed countries to a fair price. So the low, how low can be possible. this may save some lives, but not all of them. So we know that. And for sure, it will be so great if they may apply the GPMS.world label, just to have it. So selling your product to a company that it's doing money in the United States just to have a little bit more money today, as Rick said a little bit earlier, and by the end from 6 billion of solar people to have only 1 billion or a little bit more, this is nothing. So especially with GPMS.org, we have a system with unlimited money, and all new technology can come, and we can serve a lot of people. So just to think a little bit to their action, because this needs to stop. And I addressed this all to the good military a couple of hours ago, and I received also the message that yes, the inventors are practically under the exploitation, and they have no idea for what the money are used. So this will be a good start for the people if they may hear this video. If not, anyway, I will cut it and I will translate, and they will hear anyway. They will start to hear, because I would personally, I would not let this to happen anymore, especially after I understood where the money are going. Thank you so much.
Hi, Beatrice. What I suggest on when we do perhaps next Friday or whenever our Romanian meeting, let's go into depth on this, because what's occurring is causing more of a problem. It's actually going the wrong way. It's going into the control of the capitalistic world, where ones are profiting at the expenses of others. As Beatrice is saying, these holistic medicines can assist ones, but they cannot access them because the capitalistic world is putting these huge prices on them. So any that is into the capitalistic world at making a huge profit off of their holistic remedies are part of a huge problem that is going backwards and not forward. So I just wanted to share that, because again, it is a deviation, and it is a false orientation and narrative that is doing the opposite. It's not sharing, it's capitalizing off of it for profit and personal gain for a few. And this is not acceptable as well as we go forward. Thank you, Beatrice.
Beautiful. Is there anybody else who wants to add? Pin drop. That's what you lovely. Yeah.
Well, one thing we
I
can
would-
say, someone else wish to speak?
Oh, Sister Jenny.
Oh, yeah, Jenny, go ahead.
So really, this is just a message to anyone that does listen to this. And, you know, what I witness as well is, like with the holistic, everything seems to be, there's a lot of people that seem to be awakened, and they know their power, and they know that we create our reality, and yet it seems to be quite focused on creating 5D businesses. It's all about the business still. And I would just like to say that, and the individual healing, you know, like helping people individually to heal. And I just think we're thinking too small. And, you know, for all of those that know that they're so powerful and know that, you know, we have so much potential, like, let's just think big and just do it together. Like, we all heal together. All we need to do is come together first, and the magic happens, you know. And do not limit our imagination and to dare to dream again, because we've lost the ability to dream. And I think that's all it takes, really, because our dreams are so powerful. So, you know, let's just dream big together. That's my message to.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I would add to Jenny then, and just to ask you, though, for those that are creating or deciding to create businesses based on healing people, you need people to heal. So what you're actually projecting is a lot of unhealed people so that you can heal them. Otherwise, you've got no business plan. That's kind of like the medical industry at the moment, isn't it? Where one of the large companies is now buying up all of the cancer businesses because their other pharmacy, their other therapeutic creates cancer. And why not just buy up all in the idea that healing is required into the future? Then you need people that are sick. This is kind of like, I know it's a it seems paradoxical considering where we are right now, but you've also got to consider what you're projecting into the future, sickness and disease, that there is a business model around healing. Why isn't that gone? Why is that part of our future business models? Why is there sickness and disease in the future? This is what Jenny's talking to, I think, is that thinking a bit bigger, just thinking past the nose or past the short term, past the short-sighted, into that bigger aspect of what is it I'm creating? Not just looking after myself and helping a few, but what is it I'm creating? The need for that. Is that what I want to be creating? And this is that revaluation. This is that reevaluation. It's taking a step back from something that is benevolent and beneficial. I'm not knocking it, but really having a look at it and saying, what, hang on, this has got a longer term detrimental effect, even if it may seem to have a shorter term complementary effect, which is what we're seeing from a lot of this separation right now, where ones are sitting in the small pictures, smaller bubbles. They're very benevolent, they're beautiful, but extrapolating them and projecting them forward with plans and businesses and modeling is detrimental. And that's not what's being looked at. So the short-term fix is what people seek. They want it to be easy. It is when we're all together, but it's not when we're all separate. So that's why short-termism becomes the focus. Short-termism is not important. Long-termism is. Getting this right is. Getting it partially right isn't. So this is where, again, when we speak with ones who are, Rick would call prospects, we raise the perspective, we open the picture. They're on board until we take it into the larger perspectives, at which point the fear narratives, the negation, the limitation within their own vessels takes over. And that's when they become divinely rejected. They have to go away, calibrate, and then they can come back. But we're constantly looking to push the boundaries, to release limitation, to not create any limitation. And a lot of these plans and short-term ideas are limited by design. Over to you, brother.
Well, thank you. I just got to go back on the topic of love that you opened up, which was so important. So basically, upon the planet, as Lee was saying, unconditional love is not enough. If we take unconditional love inside of here, what it doesn't grow, it doesn't evolve, it accepts and allows for everything that is occurring upon the planet. But what it does, because in this unconditional love, what is involved is immorality. It's morally corrupt within the unconditional love, because ones are accepting and condoning, for example, 10,000 children dying a day of of starvation. So the point, what is occurring with, many of the spiritual teachers, the gurus, ascension teachers, or what have you, which I also have that label, by the way. However, they speak about unconditional love. But what I need to say is that unconditional love is here in the middle, one progresses into the unconditional love, then they keep evolving forward. They progress into the wise love, which is the next level of love. Love is an action. It's a very important action. It is creation, and it has to be purified from the unconditional love state into the wise state of love to advance humanity forward. So during the course of this also comes the wisdom and the knowledge of how to individually fine tune your love when it's in action. So when your love is in action, it does not accept what is immoral, what is not right, what Lee said. We don't want to continue to keep this in our reality. So when ones keep accepting things with unconditional love, it is actually a disempowering state to be, and it contaminates the strength and ability of pure, wise love that takes us forward into the heaven on earth GPMS world. Part of your discernment and your development and progression out of unconditional love involves the important wisdom and discernment at differentiating between what is limited and what is unlimited. So during the course of this, also, you must, within the unconditional love spectrum of the world, you must judge righteously. If you are to keep quiet and do nothing, this stays in because it's always accepted. All of the wrongs are always accepted. So there is no movement unless more and more speak from the place of wise love and judge righteously what is wrong in the current unconditional love energetic field and environment of the collective. So it's important to understand that on the individual level, your moral love is fine-tuned to the purest so that you rise above the encapsulation of the unconditional love to be the way showers and the leaders and the divine guardians to take humanity out of this place of false acception of what is wrong, what is morally corrupt. And this is what occurred. And this unconditional love is where the darkness is able to manipulate ones into accepting things that are immoral. They are not right. So it's important for ones to step outside of the unconditional love and judge it righteously and interject into that unconditional love the righteous judgment. And ones need to know that with judgment, each one in this unconditional love has already judged themselves. They judge themselves by their actions and their deeds, and it becomes a fact. So when you are judging someone in here, you are actually just stating a fact because they have already judged themselves by their actions and their ill intent and their insidious deeds. So it becomes a moral obligation for those of you outside to righteously state the facts of what is going on in here, which is a judgment. But it's not you that are judging these ones. They have already judged themselves by their unacceptable actions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's not we got this other problem, this other emotional issue with judging ones. You don't judge what has already happened. Judgment is before, or judgment is before you know. Righteous judgment is fact after you know, and it's objective. It's not emotionally driven. It's what happened. It's factual. That's an objective judgment or assessment. It's not something where one's a prejudging, they're reading the book or judging the book by its cover. None of these things. No, this is allowing ones to make their actions, carry out to emit their energetic, and then objectively discussing what happened, stating what happened. So each judges themselves by their actions, by everything they do is a judgment upon their own physical vessel, their own harmonic, their own frequency. Whether they think what every thought that comes into the mind is, if you allow that to extrapolate outwards, can be assessed, judged by another. This isn't about judging you or criticizing you. It's about statement of fact and agreeance. This is what we should be doing, is talking about all of these things and then coming to a center ground where we agree. And then we can unite around that center ground where there is no right or wrong. There is just an agreement, and decide whether or not those actions are okay, tolerant, or tolerable or not. If one wishes to maintain their actions, then we can choose whether we wish to be around them or don't. Because this is an in-out. There's no contractual values with this. It's just agreements. Each soul is free to self-determine what it is they wish to do. If one's wish to carry out non-virtuous acts, then it's up to everybody else who doesn't want to carry out non-virtuous acts to say no to that non-virtuous actor and let them go and do it somewhere else. Otherwise, we are enabling it. And this is all of the lessons and all of the years that have gone on of being about tolerating, tolerance, the governments, the system, the indoctrination systems, everything has been about tolerating that which is killing you, that which is causing harm, that which is shameful. You must tolerate it. No, you mustn't. And the quicker we don't, the quicker that this all stops. I will add to what Rick is saying about love is creation. What we did find out is love is a function of creation, and so is consciousness. When you add consciousness to love, then you get wise love. When you just have love by itself, then you get unconditional love. Where it, like Rick is saying, it doesn't go anywhere. It just accepts and tolerates everything because it's been taught that that's what it must do. Nobody has taught you that. This is not innate. You all, of course you do when you've got children and the other things around you. This is part of it, but it's a wiser love that you use unconditionally when you choose to. But the wiser love is always the one that you go to first and then come to unconditional. You should never think that you are stuck in unconditional and everything must be tolerated. Otherwise, you are the bad one. This is where we must stand together and standing without fear, stand in your light, righteous judgment of what just happened, and do not back down. Wise love never needs to forgive. Unconditional love does. Have a little think about why doesn't wise love need to forgive? Because it doesn't take the actions. Unconditional love condones the actions. So again, in a lot of this, there's a lot to be talked about with this, as I'm sure we'll open up a lot more in documentation and new writings for the planet, new education, new perspectives for ones to consider as this unity and agreement comes into fruition. But this is the precursory steps. This is the opening of the doors into a completely new concept for many of life, let's say, but certainly the rules and the functions of life. Brother, your hands up.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, so just one simple thing. Unconditional love is where it went wrong. It is the problem, if you will. So what we're doing in this most glorious time is we have been divinely instructed to put out more of the wise love and the higher definitions of love so that ones understand it to more effect and transition reality forward. So, we will be putting out more content to that effect because it is time to be changed. If you don't change the written definition and perception of love and the conception, if you don't change it in the timelines and on the planet in written text, it doesn't take ones forward. They would just keep looping in everything that is already written. But with everything that's already written was the condonance, the allowance, and the conception of immorality. It needs to be understood we are going forward. This world of unconditional love as it is will no longer exist. It will be the next higher form of unconditional love, which is the wise love. So just saying that, I'd love to share, I might have a while ago in another meeting, but I wish to reiterate a simple story that I was given, which is truth. And to keep it as short and simple, when I was in British Columbia, Canada, mushroom picking, edible mushrooms for to make some money, I had met a indigenous young indigenous soul, perhaps 23 or so, and we had a discussion one night. And what he had told me, he said, I come from a village up in the north of British Columbia, Canada, an indigenous village. And he said, Rick, we don't need any police. We don't need any courts or anything there. He said, in our village, I believe he said since 1972, there was only once or twice that someone did something immorally wrong. But importantly, how their justice works is that they don't need any laws because each one knows what is morally correct. So in their little village, if someone did get overtaken by a dark spirit, if you will, and did do something bad in the village or to someone, the whole village separates themselves from them, no contact. So what occurs is the individual that did something that is not morally right, they are reclusive and separated to their own house. And what occurs during about a 3-day period is that it becomes their choice to confess, repent, if you will, to redeem themselves and make amends for the wrongdoing. And in those 3 days, organically, if the individual doesn't do it while they are disconnected, there's a proper word, but from the rest of the community, within those 3 days, what happens is that they die. And that is the justice and the wrath that they bring upon themselves. So no one else in the village needs to judge them. It doesn't need to be a court decision. And one of the reasons why this is so effective is because, you know, it's ingrained into their heritage and into their culture, but it is their strong belief that supports it. So no one has to harm anyone. If someone does do something bad, they have the choice of their own self-redemption. And if they don't do it, they just die. And there is no harm nor judgment from the rest of the village whatsoever. So when we take this as a micro example to the macro with GPMS, it is also the reasoning why we do not need to make the evil ones accountable. We don't even need to waste time with it because organically they die, they fade very quickly from reality by raising the vibration. So you don't waste your time with governments trying to get them to do things for you. You don't waste time with the darkness. You simply join together and we create the replacement system where justice is handled organically. So I wish to share
Beautiful.
that, and it is very real and it's very beautiful and it is very easy to do. And this is what we're doing with the beliefs and the choice and the beliefs of ones to do no harm and to be more knowledgeable of how you can empower yourself much more quickly to affect everyone each one of you comes into contact with, that are open and receptive to the knowledge that you are purveying. So beautiful. Thank you.
I love it, brother. And I've got to come, I've got to smile about something. I've got to bring this up because this has come into focus many times during this couple of 3 years in GPMS, how counterproductive a lot of what we do is if we were a business model trying to market GPMS. If we were trying to market it and we had budgets and we had all the other things to get GPMS out there, we would do things very, very differently to the way we are. And now, if we haven't done enough to shoot ourselves in the foot, regarding what we're talking about and the stances we've had to take, now we're going to go up against unconditional love, which will rattle some more cages and possibly cause a little bit of more. No, we won't cause it, but separation or resistance may happen, and people will point fingers again. But that's blame and that's shame and that's subjective and that's not objective. If ones would listen to what it is that we are saying, they would agree. It's only when they have a subjective foot in or hand in the game that they feel that they can't agree, because now it's personal. This is not personal. None of this is personal. This is all about belief systems and rising them or releasing them, at least lifting them, if not releasing them. But it's all about belief systems, and belief systems are not part of you. They are part of what you've been given. They're part of what you rely upon. They're part of the control mechanism. Let them go. So, yeah, we're going to go up against a little bit more. We're going to blow the doors off. Blow the doors off a few of these things is what came in when we were talking about it. Let's blow the doors off that one. And that one's unconditional love and what love does. We were told that in every concept that we have of what love would be, we cannot and do not get its absoluteness. Therefore, by defining it in any way, we limit it, and it is unlimited. So this is another concept that what the ones will have to take on board in many, many, many of their environments when they're harping on, preaching about their unconditionality and you must give me unconditionality and all of these things. All of this must cease and be lifted into a wiser form of this, where these lesser terminologies, emotional blackmails and abuse no longer happen. And these are happening at many, many levels of the awakened ones for their own selfish gain. This is still occurring. This is not being released. This is witnessed in the micro and in the macro, and it is still a collective trait at lots of different levels, including some of the higher ones, which is fascinating to witness, but nevertheless, we are where we are. Having said that, I will again stop. Otherwise, we can just ramble on about a lot of this for a long, long time in different areas. Has anybody else got anything they'd like to say? It's now, about an hour and 10 in. Sister Lodi, you're always there smiling in these meetings. Have you got anything you'd like to add at this point, or you're quite happy just to sit there in attendance?
Good evening, everyone. I would just like to share
Quiet.
an observation.
Is it me or are you quiet?
My,
Yeah, your microphone's on you.
my microphone is in my. Sorry for that. Yes, I would just like to share an observation that I have made with the consent of the Philippines last year, a year ago, because this came up on my Facebook story. And at this date, last year, 2023, Philippines had 2045 consents. And this day, 2024, we have 54,408 consents. So it is a growth of 266%. And I am just thinking, with this rate of growth, by next year, with the same rate of 266%, the Philippines will have 14,472,000 and more consents. So, but I'm hoping certainly that the rate we are growing now will be faster, a lot faster than that 266%. So what I am thinking is, I feel within myself that the universe is readying some kind of funding for a work, a divine work, that I can go around some places where I could reach out to more of my brothers and sisters in areas where the internet, the access to to our website is not possible. So hoping this, I am feeling it. I am really feeling it. So the energy is moving within me, and hopefully in the very near future, I can do some action
You've
and
done
hoping.
loads.
Yes.
You've still done loads because you're
And
holding the light there. You're holding the light there. Others have dwindled and ran and done different things and chasing money, and they've sold themselves. You haven't, my sister. No, 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 no. You've done plenty. Let others do their thing too, but let's see about the funding.
yes, but I'm really feeling it. Some benevolent beings are being used by the universe. So
Beautiful.
we'll see, we'll see.
When
That's all I just want to share. I just want to express it so the universe will magnify what I'm feeling. That's all. Thank you.
so much love to you all there. When was it about this time I came over last year? Around about a little bit. Was it the 1st of May? I can't remember. May,
Yes,
May.
yes.
It was, wasn't it?
About this, yes, about this day. You
Right
were
now.
here in the Philippines. Yes.
Yeah, approximately. Okay, so that's about a year ago.
Yes.
Time flies. Let's get the 140 million by next year. Let's go at 2,666%. Let's get all the Philippines by next year, not this 14 million. Let's see. In fact, not even next year, this year. We'll do it all this year. Let's not even go into another year. Let's see. Thank you, beautiful sister. Sister Jenny.
Yes, oh, you're so beautiful, Sister Lodi. Yeah, I just send you so many blessings. I just like to ask a technical question actually about the bulk consenting inputtings. If we've sort of figured out a way to make that quicker and easier in terms of possibly not doing the catcher for each one or not doing the country for each one, because I see if we get a mass influx in consents, I think we are going to have to look at a easier way to do those bulk inputtings.
It's in the plans at the moment. At the moment, it's about 35 seconds per input. It was about 25. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do it that quickly, but the capture has added about 6-7 seconds per input. Now, others may take a couple of minutes. It hasn't put a lot on it, but what it did also do is it slowed down the website there were some issues technically with the amount that was coming in and out. And there was something about fraud inside. So it got shut down a couple of times because of the amount of inputs coming in and out, and there was some dubious nature as to whether or not we could account for them, and the capture is the bit in between that says this is all good. So that was put in. I don't like it either, and yeah, not a fan of it. Now, with regards to speeding things up, yes, but there hasn't been the necessity yet isn't there. So let me put it this way: we haven't got hundreds of thousands or 50,000s in blocks. We've got 3 or 4, 5 or 6, and we've got ones that can work through those. So as it's being looked at right now, we could, the more that the team is doing things, the more that are involved in doing things, the more energetic attention is being paid towards doing those things. If we then automate all of that, then we haven't got anybody doing anything, which is a great thing, but it's also not bringing that team unity together and not adding that energetic to it. So there's 2 ways of looking at this from our aspect, or certainly mine right now. One, I would love to grow the team and get a large team ready so that they can input a lot of those data. Let's say if we got a million in a team, then 100,000 coming in wouldn't take very long for them to put in. But we haven't yet, and we haven't got the need for that. So, but that would be the organic way, would be the people to come together to assist the people without automating. The secondary way is to automate it. And we may end up doing that too by getting a scanner to automate it directly into the database. So effectively the what is it, Excel document or whatever it is that contains the information would just be scanned directly into the database, and there'll be no internal input or external input, which is a possibility too when we're adding groups, large groups. There's a possibility that we could do it this way. We haven't finalized this yet because we haven't come to it yet. Are we prepared for it? Yes. We've got the eventualities covered. Yes. But we haven't arrived at it in time yet. So necessity is not the mother of invention yet. We're just at the detail phase. What if? Can we do that? Yes, 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 yes. Let's see. So in a lot of this, as I'm sure you're aware, sweet sister, is we try to keep this as organic as possible without forcing something in. Put that there just in case. We try to let it roll, or certainly I do anyway with this. So we've got options, but we haven't got the need yet. And when the need arrives, then we'll revisit the options, if you will. So hopefully that answers you. Hopefully that answers that question technically. Good. Okay. Brother Bronson. Brother Bronson was next. Are you there, Brother Bronson? Brother Rick, over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Lee. So in alliance with this, what I wish to say in answering Jenny's question, the provision to facilitate an instant influx of many consents is done, if you will, in the snap of the fingers. So these provisions have already been discussed to the degree that they need to be, that the instant solution can be implemented. One way to do that, as we have said again, let's take a hypothetical situation of one speaker that has been endorsed by 1,000 people to represent them. One bona fide general speaker or leader for the people can submit a public statement to GPMS saying that his 100,000 or her 100,000 people give him or her full proxy to speak on their behalf, and that the entire 100,000 group is coming into GPMS. So these are very easily, instantly facilitated with a quick communion with the one, whoever it is, and a little bit of a refinement. Now, ideally, we always, and I emphasize this to the fullest, with GPMS, it always needs to be considered the energetic input, the amplifications of the energy, and the repercussions of the energy. And let's say adding a huge energetic volume of 100,000 at once. This energetic, the energetic surrounding that is kept divinely in check. And this is one of the reasons why we don't have these huge numbers yet, because it has a direct energetic impact upon reality. Now, ideally and hopefully this will occur at any time. And when you see this, this exponentially increases the results worldwide as a flash flood of GPMS, if you will, as well. So we need to understand that there is a divine regulation, a regulator divinely upon this, on how quick we can change the present reality. It is inevitable, it is guaranteed, it is ensured, but we are also playing, if you will, with huge energy, which is creation as well. So what I need to say is anything is always provisioned by us in the moment to accommodate any situation. But what may look like some hindrances with GPMS so far are not hindrances at all. It's divine regulation because of the huge energetic impacts that this has upon reality. Divinity and prime creator is ingenious and brilliant with this divine plan, strategy, and direction to create the heaven on earth. There is no stone unturned and no obstacle that has not been predetermined and with it. So the whole kit and caboodle, if you will, it's all known and it's all been divinely provisioned for as well. So we follow this assurity, this divine assurity to take everything forward. Jumping now quickly to the other subject with Sister Lodi. What I wish to share, I was given divine instruction yesterday to, in my own way, to endorse 2 missionaries of GPMS for funding. And it's not you yet, Lodi, but I need to say there's 2, and I don't wish to name them, that I was divinely directed to take further action at energizing that out there into the reality. Because as you have stated, Lodi, there are angelic, wealthy philanthropists that are there. And each time that we see the prospective ones, then for whatever divine reasons, they fade out of the temporary existence. But nevertheless, there is the time, if it's required, that these ones need to step up, because GPMS is the biggest humanitarian movement ever known. And if these philanthropists are genuine humanitarians, they have no choice but to comply with the divine energetics and support it. So I wished to share that I am divinely instructed to test the waters again with 2 divine nomadic missionaries in different places that have been divinely strategically placed. And they do need to be financially supported as the missionaries to do this idea of work. And there is also a preparation individually with the GPMS divine guardian missionaries as well, which has been, to my knowledge, done for many now, that they are all ready to embark out on the road to be temporarily nomadic, to deliver the message to other places of the world. And this is indeed part of this divine plan. And one of the reasons, as you know, is that perhaps 40 or 47% of the world doesn't have daily access to internet, if they have it at all. And that's a huge number, 47%. You're looking at half of the population upon the planet, and it has to be accessed in some shape, form, or manner. And in this case, it's with the divine GPMS missionaries being supported by outside oriented divine wealth so that they can go out and get to these ones as well. And there is a huge number of the population that we're not accessing yet, almost 50%. And with that 50% that we're not accessing, all of these are genuine ones for GPMS, because one of the reasons why we're not accessing them is because they're in extreme lack and poverty, and this is for them. So I would like to say that entire 47% or half of the world's population is already part of GPMS. They just haven't taken the final things of consenting and knowing that it's here to deliver them into the promised land, if you will. So I just wanted to add that as well in here, just to share with others. Thank you.
Perfect, brother. And on the flip side of that too, that 47% haven't been given the option of GPMS, haven't yet garnered that hope, that future, that sight yet. Over to you, brother Dean, my friend. How's Nepal?
Yes, I'm a little bit blind today, so I'm looking at blur as I'm looking at my phone on the screen, but we'll get through it. Just a quick one on the website. In regards to the website, is there any chance that we can put a tab on the top of the website for the new and old, or on the front page of the website as you come in, the new and old? It's right in the corner, and many might not even look at that. Many might, but there's a percentage that may not. Just out of curiosity.
So I think the answer to that is, what's the word? Can't confirm or deny. No, I'll raise it and we'll see. I know it was put in a different place because of the way the website was set up, and a lot of the navigations on this site has not been like the old one, where we were pushing the new versus old on the old site. I'm not even sure where it is. This one, it's more linked and hidden in. So is there a way?
Hidden right. It's hidden right at the bottom of the page, right at the bottom.
Not hidden.
So generally, not hidden, but it's
right.
still there. But generally, most people would look across the main tabs across the top, or they would look down the main.
I would suggest that most people can stop and do due diligence and be less cursory. But yes, where there is also the consideration that we may be able to put something in there to make it more accessible.
Yeah.
So what most people would do by not bothering themselves to check it fully unless it's in their face didn't work so well in the old world, and maybe ones will learn that due diligence isn't a bad thing, and checking it for yourself and not, la. So we're yes, I'll raise it, brother. We'll see whether or not that's easily doable or whether it's necessary. But yeah, we'll have a little look.
Okay.
No worries. Was that what you was after, Dean? Was that what you were going to add, brother?
Yeah, it's just something that just came up while I was here, while I was presenting the website.
Perfect. We'll have a little look and see whether what Mr. Niar can come together with, or how easy that would be.
Yeah.
Brother Rick.
No, thank you. Quickly, I'm just musing about what you said a while ago, that with GPMS in respect to blowing the doors off with the unconditional love concept. But also, just before you said that, with GPMS, as everyone knows, and not to be in a place of conceit, but I, also is very well versed in marketing and promoting tactics, and also, how tokens and all of these things could work to facilitate GPMS. And had we had done that, what Lee said, no, it takes GPMS fully away from what it needs to do. And we could have had, perhaps if we, with the old world, we could have had many consents, millions perhaps by now, but it would not be GPMS. It would have been changed and distorted because of the capitalistic energetics into it as well. And it's also, see, everything with GPMS is energetic. So if you are luring and enticing, if you will, by giving someone an ice cream for their consent, no, that is morally corrupt, and it cannot be a place of GPMS. So this is why, we openly put it out there on a silver platter to everyone, with it being their choice. There is, let's say, the um, there is the attraction feature, which is so important, which does offer an incentive. But again, at the same time, they are not being bought from the old world for their choice. It is their choice to choose the new world. So it's entirely something fully different. But yes, getting back to, there's so many things that we could have done, but no, we never would have, and we never really could have when you look at it. So we continue keeping the integrity of the entire GPMS intact, and we don't compromise it, and we don't need to in any way. It is okay. We finally, in the past, tested a little bit of field of giving some money into Africa to make some posters and some flyers, and a little bit of money that we just had sitting in an account for 2 or 3 years. And right at this point, I have really no feedback to its effectiveness, other than it was given to Uganda about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And when I checked Uganda consents, I think just this morning, there only has been one increase in that period of 2 weeks. So when we look at how productive was this, actually sending 250 Canadian dollars to print a bunch of flyers, at this point, it's, this is only an early observation of it. It could proliferate, which would be ideal. But just with the evaluation rate at this point, it, at least in 2 weeks, and there's a lot of variables. I don't know the extents of the distribution of the flyers and all of this, but what I'm looking at is the results, and I don't see any results yet, other than perhaps one, but that may have come from somewhere else and not as a direct result of the flyers. I need to say also, one of the reasons why we did the flyers as well is because at least some of the Ugandan brothers and sisters of GPMS said it would be effective, and that they felt it was the thing to do. So with that, we said, yes, we can see that, and we obliged it to test it. So, whatever, if it doesn't work, it's for them perhaps also to see that they should also be missionaries in Uganda at walking or driving to the villages and delivering the message in person as missionaries. And that could be why this is occurring on the divine level. I have many answers, but I don't have them all, because as we go forward, more things are revealed to us, and that's why we need to keep in that neutral and objective evaluation in place on all things, and monitor what is the most effective, what works with the divine plan and utilize those most purest forms, energetic forms of purveying and sharing the GPMS message. So thank you, love, light, and gratitude, Jenny. We'll see you soon. I'm done there, brother.
Beautiful, brother, sister Jenny. Bye-bye. See you later. Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot we could add, brother. We could just bounce this and keep going. But Dean, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, I'd just like to elaborate a little bit on what Rick was saying there. I arrived in Nepal 3 days ago. Within the first day, I've spent the whole day in the area doing something else, but also speaking to the Nepali people. I just walked around and had beautiful conversations with many, and I didn't get any negative frequency thrown at me in any way from GPMS. I gave them the GPMS and allowed them that time and space to go and observe and make that choice for themselves. I don't know what's occurred within the website. I don't know how many have signed up or consented, but what I do know, the evening I came back to this place when I'm staying in a hotel, I sat down outside in the restaurants, sat talking to the manager, opened up with GPMS. And from that conversation, I am now going to an orphanage that he is selling his hotel for right in this moment to support his village and the children. So I will be arriving, going to see these children and the village and the community, and he will be translating with I to bring GPMS to that village, a door that's opened and will continue to open because the universe will set everything up. The more we walk, the more we talk, and the more we acknowledge what's in front of us, the more we can move forward at a quicker rate. But we have to be open and we have to be able to be the observer of what's in front of us at all times. The universe sets it all up, people. Love, light, and gratitude.
Well, since you brought it up, brother, I will ask. I will answer you, and the answer is none yet for any Nepali, as you call it, or Nepalese.
Okay, perfect.
18th of the 10th, 2023. I think there's 16 in total, so there was Nepalese consent prior, but not late of late. But okay, it's not about instantaneous results. It's about progressing the energetic. So it doesn't matter what we see happening. It's what we know is happening in the background.
Yeah, but talking and keep talking and keep talking. At some point, I'm gonna come to that soul that can see that is ready to bring this to the people of Nepal. We've seen this in India.
Well, we've seen it start, and this is the thing about it. The same with we've got flashpoints all over very, very soon. There's so many people that would be so as soon as you release them and they thought that they'd be safe to do this, GPMS will be viral. It's just that there's a lack of belief, a lack of trust, and a lot of other things ongoing right now, which keeping ones in an individual mode. But there's so many out there that are ready, just divinely, as we know, there's a divine mechanism on this, and there's something's got to give. Something's got to give. Let's see. Is anybody else? We're coming to the end now. Has anybody else got anything they would like to add as we close this one off? Sister B.
Yeah, you just announced GPMS.world North America meeting in 1 hour. So it is 11 a.m. Toronto, New York time. Thank you.
Perfect. And I trust all's gravy, or trust all's good in Canada over there, even though it's a quiet-ish time. I know it's one of those tedious times and the things don't seem to be working, but we know they all are. Is it all rolling forward? Is everything good with you, Sister B? Yes? Ish?
Yeah, so in Canada, door to door, it's good in general. So some people are really interested on, and I'm pretty sure that they consulted the website GPMS.org. I do not know if they consent it, but some of them, they are really interested. So I hope that on this way, many people may move forward, and from there practically you'll have also people also more in Canada that they will start to spread the word.
Yeah, there's not a lot from Canada, but there's some. We're seeing Mexico, Bulgaria, weird Vero dots all over the world. There's some from America, join a couple every now and then. Canada's gone past the UK, I think, yes, to fourth in the list. Not that it's a table of that, but I've just looked on the charts now, and Canada is in the last spots. Let me have a quick look.
For example, the last 10, if you can see what province it's about, the last 10, just like
I can't see provinces
an idea.
where I'm looking. Romania, I can possibly. I can't see provinces, but I'm looking at Canada's about 10 in the last week. Romania, PQR. S. Right, I can't. Why can't I find R? Romania. Search Romania. 9th of the 3rd was the last one, so there hasn't been any Romanians. There are 398, but there hasn't been any in over a month. These fascinate me. These numbers fascinate me as I'm watching them. The drip, 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 drip. It doesn't make sense. So it must be divine. There's something else on top of this which is causing this, and we mustn't get disillusioned by it, which is another fascination. That patience and that standing above it, observing it objectively and not critically, not falling for it, not thinking, well, this isn't happening, but understanding it is, but just subtly. So looking at these numbers, it's the same thing. You can see that Canada's not moving, yet it's one of the most oppressed countries on the planet. And yet the people don't seem to want to change. Most people in Canada would say they're not oppressed. Most everybody else outside of Canada would say, I'm not going there.
Yeah, it's not exactly on this way. We have the white hats influence from the United States. This is a lot also in Canada, and we have also another international alliance that they are moving a little bit on the back of the actual events, keeping the people towards to remove Trudeau and stuff like that. So this is one of the reasons that practically the people are not able to see GPMS.org, because there is not enough marketing, and we are not led to spread the word via the convoy. The last convoy never allowed me, the second one, and the events the same. So we are moving in circle here.
I'd like to disagree slightly with you on the marketing. There's not enough marketing. I'm going to actually say there's not enough desire, not from the people in GPMS, but from the people themselves to look for something different. Even if there was marketing, most of these people wouldn't see it, and they would still reject it if they did. We saw this at the beginning. We've seen this still. They're not looking for change. They're looking for the existing to become comfortable again. They're not looking for a new system. They're looking for the snakes to stop a little bit and give them a little bit of respite so they can chill for a bit. It's that short-termism. So Canada, very oppressed, same as Australia, and what, 25, 30 million people in Australia being totally, absolutely authoritatively controlled. And yet, white hats, militaries, they're going to come and do it for us, are they? So there's this concept that they're constantly seeming, same in Canada, same with America, they seem to be wanting others to do it for them. A lot of other places, no, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. I don't need to look. They've got my best interests at mind. Them, those ones there. Oh, not them. Them. No, they have now. I'm following them now. This, I think we're in that mode still, but house to house, you must be seeing it differently when you're actually speaking with them rather than the overview of it. Or you must see that there's a little bit more desire in them when you're speaking with them, and that gives you that more energy, that enthusiasm, as opposed to these leaders who think they know the best for everybody and treat you like you're an idiot, right? At least when you're talking to these ones that are personal, the heart-based conversations instead of ego-based with these other ones, there's that feeling, there's that connection, right? And that's that amplification that is so enthused. Sister Lodi down there, when we were sat in basketball courts with 300 people talking on a microphone in the middle of the day, stinking hot dogs running everywhere and all sorts going on, that connection, that beauty, you don't get that from egoic leaders.
Yeah, so practically when I leave the house and I'm going door to door, I do not have on my mind the number. Everything that I have on my mind is the conversation, are the people. And from there we start. So practically having GPMS on your heart, and from there you just move forward.
Yeah.
And the number one day they will come, because anyway, you know, a card, the flyer, something happened, it's led somewhere, so they can't remember anytime.
But I would also like to add, sister, but when we go to them and we speak to these people, just because they don't sign in that moment, that doesn't mean they're not going to sign in weeks down the road. We've given them the soul, that opportunity and choice, and they will remember that if they've been to the observation of that website. So they're still coming on board. It's just when and how long until they choose to do it.
Look at that.
Yeah, and something very interesting, it was when I started also to apply the place where they can find me, because you know, when you are speaking with somebody face to face, so this is GPMS.world, this is the website, but if you have question or something like, or if you want to move for Canada, you can find me here. So I saw a little bit much more interest on this way. And having also the name, because this is more like credibility on, it's not only a site where they can see and they have no idea exactly from where to start. So it's like come, and then this is not a problem. It's the individual that is speaking with you right now. So yes, so this bring forward a more confidence and everything. And no, it's but first of all, it's just amazing speaking with the people face to face. And it's much more than when I'm speaking with them in group, because speaking one by one is practically able to answer to their question and to see a little bit what they are interested on, because some may be interested more in rights, some on benefits, some on benefits for the children, some on, you know, for example, somebody answered very well just 2 days ago for the divine plan, and he put a lot of question. And right now he can see also he can see the contributors Europe with the explanation of the love. So this will be amazing.
It won't be long, Sister Beatrice, until we're talking to bigger crowds, and they'll all be responding in their heart with love. It won't be long.
I got a tear in my eyes. I've got to say this because it's just a bit of fun, but I got a tear in my eye where Brother Dean there, as the student has become the master to a certain degree, and a couple of the things that Dean is putting out. It was only a year ago that he was receiving what he's actually standing in now. Appreciate you, brother, and love you, sister. Thank you all so much for you.
Appreciate what you've done for I, brother. Trust me. And continue to do.
we keep going, brother. We keep going. We don't stop. We are resilient. This gets done. This is absolute and guaranteed, as Brother Rick may have said once or twice.
Can't move if I can't see properly, though.
You need to see. You need to know. You need to believe to see, brother, not see to believe. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there anything anybody else would like to say as we bring this one down? It's been about 2 hours now. It's been wonderful. Thank you all so much. Would anybody like to? Well, I'll finish up. I'm just going to say a couple of weeks, unless anything changes. So we'll keep this at 2 weeks for now. and we'll see how the next one goes. That 2 weeks will be the 5th of May. So the 5th of May, Sunday, the 5th of May, as it stands, unless the whole world changes in between, we'll have the next one of these, and we'll see what we bring into that one. And much love, light, and gratitude to you all for thank you all for the amazing work and all the effort and all the propulsion you are bringing into this now. Right, I'll open it up to everybody else.
What I wish to say, Lee, when you said that, interesting that we may not be having one in 2 weeks' time in the fortnight, which is interesting. I just received that, but that might mean we may need to have one next week, which would be great if something exciting occurred. But just putting that out neutrally, I just received from Father at this time that not in 2 weeks, so perhaps in a week or perhaps 3 weeks. But having said this, as we have said in the past, and we'll say this in the North American meeting again tonight, ideally, what we would like to see is some questions or topics that should be collaborated upon in these meetings, and then it does give more of the reason and direction for it. So in the past with this meeting, if anyone has a topic, just keep it one sentence, or a question, keep it one sentence that needs to be discussed in a contributors meeting, and please pass that forward to Brother Lee is right to the point, and in any North American one, pass it forward to our beautiful host Beatrice as well. And then it can be determined if we have enough content for a meeting or not. So having said that, love, light, and gratitude to you all. Have a beautiful day.
Love, light, and gratitude, brothers and sisters.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.